Throughout the centuries, there have been multitudes of important people who have shaped the world to make it what it is today. Scientists like Albert Einstein and Marie Curie, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and religious leaders like Jesus and the Buddha. All have led to our modern world. But what about the people who made these accomplishments happen? The politicians or wealthy donors who helped many of these important people to thrive? Aren't they just as important? One of these many important facilitators was Lorenzo de' Medici. But who is Lorenzo de' Medici? The name doesn't seem to ring a bell in many people's minds. So let us learn a little bit more about this man. Lorenzo was born in Florence, Italy on January 1st, 1449 to the powerful and wealthy Medici family. At this time, Italy was divided into city-states, each ruled by a different family. The Medici family ruled Florence. From a young age, Lorenzo was prepared by his grandfather Cosimo for the position of authority, since Lorenzo's father Piero was physically weak and not expected to outlive Cosimo by many years. Lorenzo enjoyed the best education available, learning Latin, Greek, and philosophy. While he was still young, Lorenzo wrote sonnets and other poetry, mainly about love. After his father's death on December 5, 1469, 20-year-old Lorenzo took control of Florence, along with his brother Giuliano. Established his reputation as a great leader. In 1471, he stabilized his house through an agreement with Pope Sixtus IV to manage papal finances. Also, he saved Florence from an imminent famine by importing plenty of grain. Yet Lorenzo wasn't always on everyone's good side. After making an alliance between Florence, Venice, and Milan, a combination with an army big enough to conquer church land, Pope Sixtus felt threatened. Along with the Pazzi family, a rival of the Medici, Sixtus planned to get rid of Lorenzo and Giuliano. April 26, 1478, at Easter Sunday Mass, the plan was executed. Giuliano was murdered, but Lorenzo escaped with injuries. Angered and frustrated, Sixtus excommunicated Lorenzo, and then in 1479 he declared war, along with King Ferdinand of Naples, on Florence. Extremely risky, Lorenzo traveled to Naples to negotiate with Ferdinand. To most everyone's surprise, Lorenzo managed to persuade Ferdinand not to attack, telling him that it wouldn't be good to divide Italy or destroy Florence. In 1480, Pope Sixtus IV reluctantly made peace, and Lorenzo's control of Florence was not challenged again. In the stability following Sixtus's peace agreement, Florence's constitution was rewritten, simplifying it, but mainly making the Medici tyranny more evident. Yet no one minded Lorenzo in absolute power. Under his rule, the prosperity of Florence grew tremendously through trade and commerce. Brought a peace among all city-states of Italy that lasted until his death. Lorenzo paid with a generous hand painters such as Sandro Botticelli, Domenico Ghirlandaio, and Fra Filippo Lippi to add beauty to Florence. Also paid for humanist John Lascaris and poet Angelo Poliazzano to travel great distances to find manuscripts in order to expand Florence's libraries. He even had the foresight to recognize the movable type printing press, and he encouraged its use. The famous Platonic Academy frequently met at Lorenzo's palace to engage in philosophical discussions. Here, Lorenzo talked to Giovanni Pico della Mirandola, Michelangelo, and Marsilio Ficino. The University of Pisa also owes its great revival to Lorenzo. Lorenzo elevated the Italian vernacular by writing his own poetry in Italian rather than Latin. He contributed the most money of anyone to the Renaissance, allowing many artists, such as Leonardo da Vinci, to thrive. It is no wonder why he was called Lorenzo the Magnificent by the people of Florence. The last decade of his rule was the most heightened period of the Renaissance. Lorenzo brought prosperity to Italy and provided the resources for the quintessential Renaissance man to thrive. Lorenzo's importance is tremendous. With a seemingly endless pile of cash, political know-how, and love for arts and philosophy, Lorenzo helped many of the people we recognize from the Renaissance to keep it going. Inventions like scissors, the availability of print, and even your cell phone would probably not exist without the Renaissance. And let us not forget the Mona Lisa, created by one of the greatest minds ever to live, Leonardo da Vinci, who got funding from Lorenzo. So, yep, Lorenzo's pretty awesome.